Scoodly doodly doo, it's time for another Welch review. Scoodly doodly doo doo. Evening, gang.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of the Welch Review.
We're your hosts, Sam and Stefan.
Today we are talking about Ryan Reynolds' new venture, or I guess acquired Disney venture, since Fox.
Wait, Disney bought it?
Yeah, Fox got
Wait, Disney bought Fox?
Yeah, they now have a monopoly. They have Marvel, Fox.
Well, that's not Monopoly, but it's close. It's real close.
Yeah, so
they're getting there.
They're getting there.
Pretty soon, our way.
Everyone's gonna be bought by either Amazon or Disney and
Yeah.
Netflix. It's gonna be those three things.
I don't know if Netflix can hang with the other. Anyways, that's not why we're here. What are we watching today?
Today we're talking about Disney.
20th Century Disney.
20th Century Disney's Free Guy, which stars Ryan Reynolds, right? You guys know him probably from Just Friends, Deadpool 2.
If you don't know who Ryan Reynolds is, then you have problems.
Green Lantern, the remake of Amityville
I hope you
Horror.
don't know him from Green Lantern. That movie's horrible.
I beg to differ. It's
real bad.
Anyway, so Ryan Reynolds. Blade 3, right? Because he
is in Blade 3.
Blade 3
yes,
was
Blade
good.
3 is good.
And then you have Joe Keery, right? Who, our friend Emily from college worked at a breakfast joint, and he came in there.
That's where you know him from.
That's where you know him from.
Yeah.
If
Also
you
Stranger Things.
Also, more importantly, not more importantly, but Stranger Things.
Yeah, more importantly.
As Steve, right? And then you have Taika Waititi, right? Who you might know from the original, documentary style What We Do in the Shadows about vampires in New Zealand. He also co-created the show Reservation Dogs with William Knifeman. Right? And then...
That's not what William Knifeman sounds like.
Knifeman. It's... How you do it?
I'm not doing it.
You have more here.
You should also stop doing that hand thing.
Okay, that looks wrong. But anyway, William Knifeman is dope. Total side note, but he co-created that show. He also wrote and directed Jojo Rabbit, where he also played a fictitious version of Hitler.
I love Taika Waititi so much.
And he directed Thor Ragnarok and starred as Korg. He's also directing Thor Love and Thunder and probably reprising his role as Korg. So needless to say, Taika Waititi's doing big things.
Yeah, he does everything.
You also have Lil Rel Howery as Buddy in this.
Lil Rel.
Oh, I should have said this. Ryan Reynolds plays a guy named Guy. Joe Keery's character's name is Keys. Taika Waititi plays a dude named Antoine. And Lil Rel Howery plays Buddy, right? You might have seen him in Uncle Drew. Get Out as the TSA cousin. And Tag.
Wait, he's the TSA cousin?
TSA.
He lost a lot of weight.
We get shit done.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. Good for him.
Yeah, he's doing big things. Then you have Jodie Comer as Millie. She's in the, I think it's BBC, AMC. I could be wrong, but it's Killing Eve. Which
There's a C in there. We know that.
She also plays Rey's mom in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and that cutscene where it shows her parents. She plays Rey's mom.
Oh, that's cool.
So that is pretty dope.
So she's
already
more
part
Disney.
of the Disney machine.
More Disney.
Yes, and then she's most recently in The Last Duel, which Ben Affleck and Matt Damon wrote and star in, and Ridley Scott is directing. That's in theaters now.
I want to watch that.
Yeah, it does look pretty good. It's about the last sanctioned duel, I think, in Paris. But anyway, then you have Utkarsh Ambudkar, and I am so sorry if I butchered that. Utkarsh Ambudkar. I'm going to stop. He plays Mauser.
We're sorry.
And he was in the TV show, well, it's a movie called Blind Spotting, but it's also a TV show now on Starz, Blind Spotting. He was in the show, movie Brittany Runs a Marathon, Game Over Man on Netflix. He plays a prince. And he's in the Disney film Godmother, more Disney, right? About someone who becomes a fairy godmother. This is directed by Sean Levy of Stranger Things fame, right? He produced the show and has directed, I think, 8 episodes of it.
That explains a lot.
This Is Where I Leave You, which is a fantastic film starring Jason Bateman, which is strange because I don't really like Jason Bateman, but he does great in that. And then he did the Night at the Museum trilogy with Ben Stiller. And this was written by Matt Lieberman and Zach Penn. Matt Lieberman wrote The Christmas Chronicles on Netflix that stars Kurt Russell as Santa.
Yeah.
He wrote the new animated Scooby-Doo movie Scoob. And
Scoop.
he wrote the animated Addams Family movie that came back in 2019. I think there's a sequel either out now or coming out.
So he's made like a lot of big things that people don't like.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Scoob.
You did?
I thought,
I heard that
Scoob.
like everybody hated Scoob.
I liked it for the Shaggy Scooby dynamic. Everything else they shoehorned in there sucked.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there.
I got you.
And the Christmas Chronicles is dope. Kurt Russell's is dope Santa.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell's from Springfield.
That's right.
Then you have Zach Penn. Now, in comparison, what Zach Penn has done to what Matt Lieberman has done is rather so Zach Penn did Ready Player One.
Okay.
He did the first Avengers movie, and he did X-Men 2 X United, as well as the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Right. So he just made a second movie that was Ready Player One.
Ready Player One.
No, I know, but he made this movie which is very similar
to Ready
in
Player One.
concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
But look, that's probably why they hired him.
Yeah.
Or why he wrote it, because he's like, oh, I'm already familiar with this, cross between real world, game world type stuff. But just in comparison, Scoob. Oh, I wrote the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like what a strange.
There's a dramatic gap there.
What a pairing.
But
anyway, that's who's who. That's some butchered names. Some hot takes.
Yeah, so as far as this movie goes, it follows Ryan Reynolds, who plays Guy in Free City. He wears a blue shirt. That's important. Most people know him as Blue Shirt Guy.
Blue Shirt Guy.
Blue Shirt Guy.
BSG.
Anyways, initially, he's just a normal non-player character, an NPC, right? If you've ever played Grand Theft Auto, then you've seen a lot of them. Or really any video game ever, because they're in all of them.
They're in all of them.
But it starts off with like his life, and he has a daily routine that he's programmed to do each day, which is wake up, say hi to his goldfish, get coffee, go to work, get mugged, and then go drink beers with his best friend. On the beach. So overall, not the worst life. The mugging sucks, but it's not really a mugging. The bank gets held up every day by players.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there are players who are playing this game, right? Now, the NPCs in this world are kind of special because they were programmed by that guy from Stranger Things. Steve.
Joe Keery. Emily's breakfast
What's his name in this show?
Keys.
They're programmed by Keys. And Keys is a really good programmer, and the lady actually, she did all the AI.
Jodie Comer, so Millie.
Millie. Millie.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes. Okay, I get it. We're gonna keep going. Okay. Thank you. So, anyways, Millie programmed all this AI before this giant corporation bought out their game and stole their AI, and basically their NPCs are supposed to ultimately achieve artificial intelligence, right? That was the goal of their original video game. So this new game just kind of stole all that and shoehorns it in. So now all of these characters kind of have their own personality. They're very understated at this point in the story. But they all have their own personality, right? They talk about crap that's going on. They socialize. They have fun, right? So you can already kind of see that Guy has a personality, but he does the same routine every day. And one day he decides, I wanna find somebody that I love, and he just so happens to find her walking down the street as a player, right? One of the actual humans who's playing the video game, and you can tell who a human is because they have glasses on. And for all intents and purposes, the rest of this game is just Grand Theft Auto. Right, that's what the game is. It's just Grand Theft Auto. He decides how I'm going to talk to this woman is I'm also going to go and get me some of them glasses, right? So somebody holds up the bank that he works at, and he walks over to them and grabs the glasses and can immediately see all of all the crap that a player normally sees, right? He has a mini map now. He has a tool select bar, so he can cycle through different weapons that he has available. He can accept different quests that are available to players, right? Anything that a player can do, he now has access to. And it kind of revolutionizes his life, right? He starts to save people. He starts to fight bad guys. He starts to get stalked by the police, who are actually just the people who run the game, who moderate the game. One of them is this Keys guy who had originally written his code for another game. So anyways, all that aside, he finds this woman, right, that he is in love with, who is an actual Humie, and she's like, hey, if you want to hang out with me, you're going to have to get to above level 100. And he's like, oh crap, I'm only level 1. So then we get a montage of him leveling up and becoming famous. And everybody's like, wow, look at this guy. He's leveling up without doing anything crazy or evil or hurting the NPCs or doing anything bad. So all of a sudden around the real world, not the fake world, the real world, everybody's like, wow, blue shirt guy from a video game. He's so cool. I love him.
Even Alex Trebek, God rest his soul.
Yeah, even Alex Trebek is in on it. So, Ryan Reynolds as blue shirt guy becomes real famous and everybody likes him. And eventually he gets above level 100 pretty fast actually. And he starts helping this lady who he finds out is this Millie woman, right? She's trying to prove that this big corporation has been stealing their AI code and has just been shoehorning it into their own games without giving them any credit or funds for their work, right? So he's like, okay, well, I'll help you find it, right? I'll help you find what you're looking for. Which ultimately leads to the revelation. Well, it ultimately leads to them like being into each other, which is kind of weird because he's a computer, right?
There are definitely weirder things.
And eventually he realizes like, hey, he's told like, hey, I'm just a computer, and that messes him up real bad, and then. Later on, he decides, screw it, I'm a computer, so what? I need to save this game because they're coming out with a sequel next week so that me, the artificial intelligence, and all the NPCs that I love and are friends with can survive, right? And he does this, of course, with the help of Keys and Millie, who are in the real world, helping him out.
Yeah.
While he also helps them out, right, to validate and prove that it's their video game. That's where we're gonna leave the plot. I don't want to tell you any of like the big reveal stuff, but that's just a condensed explanation of what goes down.
No, I thought it was pretty solid. It doesn't give anything away. Probably shouldn't talk about Trebek. That's my bad. But
no, that's fine.
It was nice to see Alex Trebek,
man,
good. Especially since like that's most likely one of his last.
Film appearances.
Yeah. In terms of Free Guy itself, so from the beginning, right, you made a point that, Ready Player One. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much in the similar... so instead of, like, from a real-life person into the game, it's a person in the game to out of the game.
Yeah.
Right? Type thing. And I didn't even think of that comparison. So if you are a fan of Ready Player One... and you're looking for perhaps a film, not that movie isn't humorous in its own right and have some fun like it's a lot of fun.
But this one's just a comedy.
Yeah, this one's strictly a comedy.
Yeah, it's an action comedy film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very good. I think Ryan Reynolds, how do you say this? He's an actor who I think in a lot of ways really just plays one role.
Yeah, ever since Deadpool, he's just kind of played that.
Various levels of like from 1 to Deadpool, how Deadpool are you?
Yeah, how Ryan Reynolds are you today?
Exactly. So he's maybe like a 4 or a 5.
I mean, he's not raunchy, but it's the same kind of humor minus all of like the sexual connotations.
There are swear words.
They're swear words.
He does sneak one F-bomb in the movie, but it's not like a huge, like, it doesn't have like a lot of humor to it. So I think for someone who's kind of typecast in this one, specific thing, he's embracing it and he's doing movies where I guess it fits, right? He's at least picking smart things. I will say, I thought as the movie went on, you kind of grew to feel for a guy, like especially like this whole idea of like your world you can be more than what you're said to be, right? I think that whole idea where like we've talked about this in other movies, right, where characters feel like they're watching from the sidelines, and I think in life, a lot of people feel like, oh, you know, I could be doing more. Like, why does it have to be this way? And in some regards, it doesn't, right? You can do more. If you want to do something, you can do it. So I think there's a very positive message. And, like, you know, when he talks to Buddy, that whole monologue where he comes back to, like, get him a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
I thought that was good too. I like that guy is constantly trying to like raise up all of the NPCs so that they can achieve what he's achieved, which is really cool. But aside from that, I kind of feel like the movie is very predictable. Like everything that happens, it's supposed to kind of be a twist. You're like, okay, this is obviously going to happen. Just when's the ball going to drop? You know, like it's not. For a movie that's, you know, supposed to be addressing a side of, like, you know, video game culture that, you know, hasn't been explored yet, it's super cliche. Just all the way, all the time, the whole thing. Which is okay, like, it's still a fun film.
Yeah.
But it's not exceptionally well acted. There's a lot of, like, severe gamer stereotypes in it. There's a lot of misunderstanding of how video games or, like, netcode or servers or how any of that actually works. They obviously just don't know what the hell they're talking about most of the time. So that kind of stuff is just, like, if you've ever played video games and you know literally anything about them, then this movie kind of, like, you know, it scratches some basic itches, but then, like, anything that's more in depth than, like, NPCs do same thing is kind of not, you know, like, that's, it's just, it over-dramatizes. It does what, like, the Big Bang Theory does for nerds. It's like, oh, look, every nerdy trope that's ever existed, this is what our film revolves around.
I see.
You know, and that's bad writing. That's really bad writing. Like, one of the guys who's kind of like an obstacle at one point winds up just being some fat dude who lives with his mom, who's a streamer, and is, you know, like, screaming at his mom and being, like, super sexually awkward towards Guy. Like, oh, he's also played by Channing Tatum in the video game, which I think is funny. So, like...
And that kid, the kid who is living, that kid is the arcade manager from Stranger Things.
Yeah, he is. So, like, yeah, there's good parts, but it's also, like, pretty stereotypical, and it doesn't really know a lot of the substance about what it's talking about, which is kind of disappointing, but, you know, it's fine. Like, it's probably not trying to super just appeal to that one group, so that's okay. It's upsetting, though.
You're right. So, like, by all means, like, I think as they try to understand video games and how that type of stuff works, I think it's just like, oh, how can we inject this and make it funny? You know, like, they're not really thinking about this whole community and how it's portrayed.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is like, when, even just past comedy, like, there's a scene where this dude is hacking up servers with an axe.
Okay.
Right? And it slowly destroys individual pieces of the world. Right? Well, no, if you hit a server with an axe, the whole server goes down, most likely, right? Like, that's severely detrimental, and, like, it's just not portrayed accurately, right? Or there's other times where they, like, factory reset the game, and everybody's kind of okay with it except for the people who have, like, AI, right? Or the NPCs, right? And it just, like, doing that in real life would just, like, obliterate all of the progress that anybody who's played the game has made. But that doesn't happen.
Oh, right, yeah,
So-
okay, I see what you're
So
saying.
there's just, like, a lot of things that they do that, you know, like, wouldn't actually happen. Obviously, they do it for plot reasons. But if you know about any of this stuff, you look at it and be like, oh, that's wrong. Like, that's not what would happen. So Yeah, like, it's a fine movie. They take a lot of liberties and loopholes for the plot, which is not the worst thing ever, especially when a large portion of the community that will watch this film don't actually know that you're, like, you know, screwing up.
Yeah.
So it doesn't super change a lot. I just, as somebody who knows not a ton, but a decent amount, it's like, hey, this is flawed.
Understandable. So, not a perfect film again. Flawed in its concepts of how video games and servers work.
Sorry, I guess it's not important.
No.
No. I mean, actually, though, like, you know, it's a movie.
But you know, the credibility to what they're saying isn't there. You know what I'm saying? In that regard, but. Is it a fun Ryan Reynolds vehicle? Yeah, absolutely. It's nice seeing some of the Stranger Things cast, you know, brought in, you know, out of Hawkins. What's cool is some of this movie was filmed in Worcester or Worcester, however you want to pronounce it. So it is local, at least to, you know, us and you guys watching. But, you know, fun movie. You know, you want to see Ryan Reynolds has changed? He hasn't. Has he toned it down a smidge since being Deadpool?
Yeah.
Smidge.
Yeah. Overall, pretty fun film. Pretty cliche. You'll see what I mean if you watch it. But that doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just predictable.
Yeah, so go and knowing that.
Yeah.
But until next time.
It's been the Welch Review.